Now, up on Capitol Hill, top generals who oversaw the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan are now slamming administrative officials for not following their advice, creating a chaotic exit.
I was concerned about the different pace of Department of Defense planning as compared to Department of State planning.
There's zero doubt in my mind there were mistakes made. The fundamental mistake, fundamental flaw, was the timing of the State Department.
And that was too little, too late.
It is my judgment that it was far too little, far too late.
Our next guest is a Gold Star father of that young man right there, Lance Corporal Mark Schmitz, one of the 13 fallen service members. Mark Schmitz, the father, joins us now. Mark, I cannot imagine how you feel when you're watching those hearings and you have generals that warned the Biden administration not to do this. What's your reaction?
You know, it blows my mind that the attention has been so much on these generals and not on Blinken, for example. I think he's the biggest culprit out of all of this. And now that these generals are retired, I think they can freely speak a little bit more about what's going on, but I still think they're being hushed. So much of this that's classified. I don't understand why that would need to be. This is an event from the past. They have finished the latest investigation. We'll be flying down to CENTCOM in early April to get an update on that report. But I fully suspect that most of it's still going to be redacted, which leaves us with so many empty questions. Yeah,
General Milley says he wasn't in favor of the Afghanistan withdrawal. He wanted to do it in a smaller, former fashion. General McKenzie, he blamed the Biden administration, the State Department, for their policy decisions and for creating a dangerous environment. 13 service members died. I mean, there are consequences to elections, as we can see. What is your message to Joe Biden, to Blinken, to the administration when they make decisions that affect all of these faces we're seeing on the screen and your life for the rest of your life?
First and foremost, I personally request the resignation of Blinken. I think he needs to go. You look at this administration and the policies that they've been making since Biden took office, and I'm not trying to go political with this, but we're watching embassies being evacuated left and right. It just shows a complete weakness on behalf of this administration, and something has to change.
Mark, I want you to hear this soundbite. This is a retired Navy SEAL. This is Mike Sorelli. He was on Fox Nation. Listen to this, talking about the 13 lives that were lost.
War against Islamic extremism is a generational fight, and we're seeing that right now. And our politicians, our leaders should have stepped up and just been honest that, hey, we may never leave Afghanistan, and set the expectations for the American people. But the fact that this panel saw 13 young Americans, some of who were born after 9/11, lose their lives in a region that we deployed to multiple times, it feels a little bit like failure on our part.
You know, there was another Gold Star father that was very frustrated at the State of the Union address. As you saw, he was arrested for standing up after Laken Riley, President called her Lincoln, when he mentioned her. Then you had this Gold Star dad, Steve Nakui, who stood up and started yelling out the Abbey Gates so that the president would remember his son, too. He was arrested. We couldn't believe he was arrested. But thankfully, this D.C. AG has dropped the charges. That happened late yesterday. What's your reaction to that?
Steve's a hero. I mean, there were 7 of us in the audience that night, myself included. We had all talked about standing up and doing what he did. And we, out of respect, out of those who had invited us to come and be in attendance, most of us elected, obviously, not to speak out. But for what Steve did, I think it's fantastic. I mean, this was a dream of his to have his son's name uttered in those walls, and he did that. I mean, unfortunately, he had to do it himself, because here we are 2.5 years later, and Biden is still yet to mention our names. Our kids' names, I'm sorry. But yes, the fact that they dropped the charges, that's great, but they should have never been brought in the first place.
I agree with you. Tell us really quickly a little bit about Jared, what you miss most. He looks just like you, that picture of the two of you. Y'all are just spitting images of each other.
Jared was such a great human being. I mean, I don't recall him ever having an enemy. He loved everybody. His sisters and the rest of our family miss him terribly. We just miss his smile and his charismatic personality, his laugh. I mean, that was probably the most infectious. So he's just one hell of a human being. I can't wait to see him again.
Oh, you will. You will. Thank you so much, Mark. He's a hero. God bless you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.